Hi, I'm here with a new version of our extension Dynamic Shadow 2. This is the interface of our extension Dynamic Shadow 2. Here we have two buttons, and 3D Shadow and Visual Shadow. Okay, I click on 3D Shadow. Actually, I want to have a 3D shadow at the bottom of the comp, like this. Okay, I select my layer, and then I click here, and then apply it. As you can see, we have a really soft shadow, 3D shadow, at the bottom of our comp. Like this, we can animate this. Okay, when I lower the position of our shape, the softness of our shape will be increased. And for the setting that we want to customize it, we come to the effect. I select the layer and come to the effect customize. And in here, we can change the shadow point. For example, in here, like this, or here. I want to, it will be in here. And our shape in here. We can change the color, and in here we have the label peak point. I open this. You have the peak point distance, the softness of our shadow distance based on the distance, and width size in peak, like this, the size in peak, all of the setting. You can customize it very really nice. Opacity in peak. When we higher, our opacity of shadow will be lower. When I change it, as you can see, it's changing. And all of the properties that you can customize it to your shadow and layer. And in here we have the base point. The base point doesn't concern to the distance of the our shape to the shadow. It's actually the base. You can change it. The width, size and base, all of the settings in here. I don't wanna really get into it. Actually, all of them is for customizing. Okay, I go to my comp 2. In here we have the same shape, just I wanna reflect it, choose a reflection, and then hit apply. As you can see, we don't have a huge change compared to the previous one, without reflect, but we have just a reflection of our shape or photo or any object, and we have the same settings to customize it. Pick point and all of the base points. Well, all of this, it was about the previous version Dynamic Shadow 1, and I want to introduce it, the Dynamic Shadow 2 to you. So I go to Comp 4. In here we have a background layer and one shape and one layer. Okay, I go to Visual Shadow. In here we have two selection parts, select sun layer and select object. We have to select one layer or null, even nulls, or even adjustment layer, and for our sun layer, and one layer to receive the shadow as an object. Okay, I want to the white circle to be my sun layer and this blue circle to be my receive shadow. Okay, then I apply it. Well, as you can see, it's created a really nice light effect and shadow effect on here. We have the setting as same as previous one. In the yellow parts, we have in CTR layer and depth light and depth shadow. We have the settings on these three. For example, for the CTR layer, um, come here, we have effect to control our shadow and light effects. For example, we have a drop shadow, opacity. Well, as you can see, the opacity of our shape will change. I click here, 66. All of these properties work with the distance of our sun layer to the object that receive the shadow. For example, we can change the distance. As you can see, the effectiveness depends on the distance of this layer and this layer. Okay, I select here and change this. And the softness we have here, I want one, little bit more, even two. We have the inner light properties in here, the intensity. You can change the intensity. As you can see, it's changing very well. Well, we have really nice lighting here. And then let me change it to 16. Then we have overall shadow. When I change it, we have overall shadow in here. We have overall shadow opacity. We can reduce it. As you can see, it changed the overall shadow. We can change the color and then overall light opacity. As you can see, all of the property have their own effect on the distance and the shape layer that received the shadow. Let me back it. Light blur. Let me reduce the quality to half. Change it to 100. Then light scale. I change it the light scale to 60 and 60. And we can change it on here. As you can see, the shadow and inner light and the intensity, the distance, all of them are changeable. Then light scale, light effects. We have light effect. We can change the position. Open the light effect opacity. As you can see, we have a really nice light effect opacity to 220, and the scale. Let me find it. 60, 60. And in here we have the blur. You can change it. Turn it to 50. And then we have scale 60 and 60. As you can see, we can customize it very well. And then we have position. Actually, the position of our sun layer parented to the top of the highest layer, layer 2. We can change it on here. Even on the shapes, we have nice shadow. Okay, then turn back to the settings, the color and the rotation. You can create a nice animation with this rotation, and then we have a type. You can change the radial type to the angle, to the range. And let me turn it to our layer. As you can see, it's just effect on the layer that the angles is in the light, and the angle of the light is here and here, and just the shape receive the shadow that is in the angle of our light. Let me turn it back to radial. Okay, then we have a, well, let me change one thing. We don't right need it right now. Let me go to other settings. Well, for inner light, this inner light customization or setting, you have to open this layer, and in here we have a layer style, blending option, inner glow, and bevel emboss, and gradient overlay. For for inner glow, as you can see when I turn off, let me change the light layer position. As you can see when I turn on the inner glow, it have a really nice glow here, and you have the settings in here, such as the color. You can change the color. Okay, and we have bevel and emboss. As you can see, we have a really nice bevel effect inside of the shape. Let me change the position of our light. In here we have our bevel. It have its own setting on the bevel effect. Just in here you can change this white color in here, inner bevel, the light color, the white color in here, and the black inner shadow in here. You can change it on all of the settings, and we have a gradient overlay. As you can see, it have its own settings in here. You can change the overall light and overall color in here. For example, I can change it to yellow, all of the things. And I can change it to, okay, that was our dupe light control. And when we have a dupe shadow control, we have to open the layer, and in here we have drop shadow settings and its own settings. In here you can change the size, spread, and all of the things in here. Okay, it was our whole customization and settings about the dynamic shadow 2 in these three layer and three yellow layer, CTR and dupe light and dupe shadow. Okay, that was it, our extension dynamic shadow 2. Hope you to enjoy it. Thank you.